right, it is 5:15. We are here on July 5th for the City Council meeting. Jane, would you roll call?
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Here.
Blatt.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Lindbergh.
Here.
Rudolph.
Here.
Thank you.
You've all gotten the agenda. I didn't see any additions or deletions. Looks like it's the way it is. Any conflicts? I guess we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Yes,
Mayor, are
please.
you okay if Joe Ruschenberg, if he could move up in front of my report just in case I get too windy tonight? He does have a real commitment.
I better not put that to a vote. I better just do this one on my own, probably. Yeah, that'd be okay by me. So
Just skip the administrator.
skip the administrator, just X him out.
Right.
So yeah, we can do that.
I'll fix
so,
that.
so we will adjust that under the other reports. We'll move HMU ahead of the city administrator. So that'll be fine. So with that, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Roll call. Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
And any conflicts? Same old, let us know if you have troubles with any of this. Next up is the consent agenda. Minutes of the June 21st, 2022 council meeting and the June 29th, 2022 city council and airport commission tour and discussion. Claims list 1269 in the amount of $522,927.08. Renewal application of Harlan Golf Country Club Class C liquor license. And under the claims list, there are just a few items there that were sizable.
Yep, Western Engineering, it was the $95,000. They are going to be doing some major street work for us. 10 Point Construction, City Hall parking lot, $65,000. Tim for the parks found a Bobcat mower, Tool Cat, and that was a partial payment, that $48,000. HMU, we finished their payment of $30,000, so the $110,000 is paid now. The audit was $18,500, and Ziegler Caterpillar, the new loader for the guys, that was $162,725. So those were the big ones.
And the mower and loader were both with that USDA grant,
Right.
and these were all previously budgeted items. So
The grant will be a reimbursable, so they're the last ones in. So we pay it, and then they reimburse us the percentage that was agreed upon.
Anybody have any questions or with all that? Nope. Is there a motion to approve?
A motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindbergh.
Roll call. Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Blatt.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Review the resolution number 2503, authorizing the submission of a grant agreement. That's a long number. For the airport taxi lane improvement project, AIP, and certifying eligibility requirements. That was a long report too to peruse. I'm sure Mr. Blatt can give us a short version. If you want to defer to Mr. Geddes, we'll let him maybe talk about it a little bit.
this is the with the allocation of funding for this project, which was spec'd out. We took bids this spring. And similar to other FAA projects, this is the last step in which they send the grant agreement. All the signatures are done online, so you'll see within this resolution it does authorize me as a signer throughout that electronic process. This also gets routed to the city attorney through that online routing, which has been done in the past. Good news on this project is, as you may recall, that we're doing both phase 1 and phase 2. And the good news with all that, you'll see on the resolution, this grant agreement, the federal share is $604,000, which is 90% of the overall project. General aviation airports are allocated $150,000 a year of AIP, which is Airport Improvement Program money. And our bank was around just under $400,000. So our intended plan was to use our AIP allocations that we had banked up, but we didn't have up to the $600,000, and we were going to use get the acronym list and acronym index out. We were going to use the BIL, which is the bipartisan infrastructure law money, which we don't need to do that now because other general aviation airports that don't use their allocated funds they can release that to other airports. Through Jeff Dietering with FAA we've had other airports release their allocations to us. So good news is this will, $604,000 will be all AIP money towards this project. As you may recall, 2 or 3 meetings ago, we awarded the bid or contract to Bluffs Paving. In the FAA, Federal Aviation Authority process, this is the last step, which is the grant agreement. And if any of you do want to look at pages 18 through I think 90, was all of the formalized items, the grant agreement itself, all the attachments, all the pre-work, and it validates why you have specialists that, planners and engineers that specialize in aviation that take care of all this for us. So, but if you have any questions about those other 60-some pages, I'd be happy to at least attempt to address them. If not, I could research those with our, but that's background on this resolution. And upon us getting this signed, we would then move on to the next steps, which would be working with the contractor, pre-construction meeting, and also finding suitable time with the airport activity.
Anybody have any questions about page 39 or 46 or anything like that? No?
Another
We're good?
project.
Okay, is there a
Yes.
motion to approve resolution 2503?
Moved. Second.
Motion by Shaven, second by Peterson.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up, review the standard professional services agreement for Snyder and Associates for the stream bank stabilization. Is that down on Exchange Street area down there?
Yes, this was also included in your packet. So as you may recall, we had done a preliminary engineering study with Snyder for that area to look at mitigation strategies. And upon meeting up with them on site again, would like to recommend their services to actually design that plan. We believe, or what we're going to ask to be designed is actually a modified plan. And this map was also sent out to you. But so on the left side, should be the left side of your screen, that's the Exchange Street Bridge. This section here that's circled is the most egregious area where there's the stream's now split, it's eroding on both sides. That's the area that needs the attention. And their services would help design that plan, ensure all permitting, as this is within a floodway, solicit bids, get consistent bids with a consistent spec, and that's also ensure the work is done according to that spec. And that's what their agreement would be for.
Has that area gotten worse since we first looked at that, or is it about the same?
Since the cornstalk and flooding
Yeah.
4 years ago, it's been pretty much the same. But this area where, due to that event, this bank here, actually both sides here, has just made it more susceptible to erosion. And this plan would put together strategies and get all the debris and trees and stuff removed. If you venture down there.
Is that the same property owner, Gene, that owns both sides of that then? Or is there somebody different on the other side?
There's 2 property owners on each side,
Okay.
and the actual drainage way is city property, it's public property. And it is our responsibility.
Okay, any questions about that?
And as you may have seen in their proposal, it is for 2 lump sum for design and bid services, and then fees, estimated fees for construction. The area and the depth is beyond any equipment that we have in terms of excavators and reaches and such, so.
It's good to have engineers.
So would you be just for that area that's circled or the whole kind of area there?
That area that's circled.
Okay.
And what the study will show and what their recommendation is that will also further improve the less impact on, there's no bridge impact at this point, but getting more consistent flow, especially in significant events, will reduce any further impact or potential future impact of that bridge. To say it will never, I mean, things will degrade over time, but it will further improve and lessen the risk on the bridge structure itself.
Okay, any other
And
questions?
Again, the plans and specs and all that would be approved by you as well.
Is there a motion to approve this agreement?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindberg.
Roll call Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Blatt,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Thank you.
So then we're going to move into my report then, which I don't have anything other than just do HMU and then come back to you then, Gene? Is that kind of plan, or you want Todd to jump in, want everybody to jump in? No, we're
I mean, I don't have to go to about 1:45. You guys are moving right along.
So maybe we should put Gene in to kind of slow his pace down a little bit. I don't want to be the record setter. Take it away, HMU. Joe Ruschenberg, welcome to your first official meeting of sitting in the chair without anybody else.
Yes, thank you. I've just got a few items. We're working on easements, a couple property owners trying to get power. There's an additional feed we're trying to get down to the sewage treatment plant. Right now it's fed from Maple Street only, on Maple Road. So with the proposed water well project that we're doing, we're also going to have a power feed go down, so we kind of got an additional feed to the sewage treatment plant. I mean, if something would fall out on Maple Road, we got this backup, but we're going through easements that are designated just for water and sewer right now, so we're working with a couple property owners to try to get them to be an all-inclusive, all-utility easement. So we're working through that process. So hopefully everything will be in place when that water project is due also. We're also looking at a rate increase on the water too, so we're kind of going through the motions there. Going to meet with the Finance Committee this week, Thursday, to kind of go over what we're looking at, try to get their blessings, and then we'll move into trying to get that rate increase implemented here in the next month or so. Next board meeting that we have is June 28th. We're looking at setting a bid date, and I think Ken has talked about that before too, on the 69K transmission line from Boca, doing some inspection work on there, inspecting all the poles, see if there needs to be any improvements on that line. That we're trying to get that bid date set here at the next board meeting. Chances are we're late enough in the year. Any work's not going to happen until in the spring, so we'll give them kind of a completion date into the spring instead of trying. Originally it was, they were going to try to give them like a December, is what the recommendation was from the electric engineers, completion date of like December, but he said everybody get full up. We're better off trying to push that to spring. And then lastly, seeing our telecom guys kind of in the alley behind the library up there. They're working on kind of resplicing some fiber lines or services up there from there was a car accident back there I think a while back with the Molded Products building there. Clipped off one of our pedestals, so they have to pull new services to all those businesses and then get those respliced. We're working on that this week. Should have that all completed. Any questions for me?
Is that all conduit through there, Joe? Do you have
Yeah.
enough to make
So the thing is, it actually kind of sheared off right above the conduit, so there wasn't enough wire to pull back in the trailer to splice, so they had to pull all new fiber through all the conduit. But like I said, it was all conduit, so at least they didn't have to tear anything up, just pull new conduit. So like I said, they're working on that. They should have everything done there this week.
What does the water increase go towards? Like the wells or anything? Because wouldn't overall maintenance be down for water restrictions the last 2 years?
Well, we're trying to get our reserve built back up, and part of that's kind of back with the issues with the water plant. You know, prior to me, there was kind of the lawsuit that's ongoing, a lot of work that they had to do on the plant to try to get that functioning correctly. You know, I think the hope is to try to get some of that money back through litigation, but at this point, it's kind of depleted where we're at as far as any reserves, so we're going to do an increase just to try to get the reserves built back up also.
Okay.
Any other questions for Joe? It's going to be easy on you, Joe, so that's a pretty good meeting. so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. All right, now are we going to go back?
It's up to you, Mayor.
I say, Todd, you're up. We'll save,
Well done.
Save City Administrator.
yeah, Todd Beleen.
All right. Well, I'm going to be pretty quick too. Just one of the things I wanted to do is just thank everyone around Shelby County who gave us such a great 4th of July weekend. Whether it was Christina out at Prairie Row, she had some amazing events going on out there. Then we had, of course, had the 150th celebration up in Westphalia, and all of the volunteers that took to pull that off. I saw the paper that will be coming out tomorrow. They're estimating 10,000 to 15,000 people attended that, so you can imagine how much work those volunteers put in to make that happen. So that was just all fantastic. One of the opportunities we had on Friday is we hosted Jay Goodvin. You may know him as the Iowa Gallivant. And we were gallivanting all over Shelby County on Friday with him. So he has a program through Travel Iowa called the T-Bone Trail, Western Iowa T-Bone Trail. And he visits different attractions, different restaurants, shoots some video, takes some pictures, and puts it up on social media. He's got about 12,000 to 15,000 followers, gets about 1 million views on the stuff that he puts up. So we had him here last year. This year we took him up to Portsmouth and we took him over to Smith Collectibles. So thanks to Marvin for opening that up and letting us kind of show him around in there. Richard and Angela Buman over at Victoria Station served him a wonderful lunch. Then we went up to Panama. Took a tour through Panama Transfer with Mark Grawl and Dean Claver. Then, of course, Dean had to show him his bent rim location up there at Panama. And we finished the night off with Norma over at Norma Jeans, and we had a great ribeye steak over there. So all of those videos will start going up on his site, the Western Iowa T-Bone Trail. So take a look at him. He did a great job with them. Go ahead and share them, like him, and we'll get things moving along those lines. Last thing is just a reminder, I think I mentioned this last meeting too, but this coming Tuesday the 19th at 11:30 in the morning will be our all members meeting over at Turkleson Center. So that's where we invite all members of the chamber to come. We talk about what we accomplished in the year before, we talk about what we're planning to do in the coming year, and we'll introduce our new board at that time. That's it for me, unless anybody has any questions. All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
City
Quick question,
Administrator.
is that,
Oh, go ahead.
is that T-bone linked on the chamber website by chance, or you just have to?
It's not, because it's not just us, you know, he's posting videos of all different communities all over, but what we are doing is we're grabbing his videos, and we'll probably be adding his individual videos to our website, just not be linking the whole site.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Gene, got plenty of time. Take your time.
Pick up with actually where Todd was commenting about the July 4th Independence Day weekend. It was an active weekend, a lot going on, and there was a lot going on in the sky and in the noise as well. So, reminder to anyone that if you have anyone in the public, pick up any trash, papers, canisters, parachutes, Twizzler, all the items that you may have lit off and ignited. We did have just one call last week. That was before the weekend. It came directly to the police department. Do not have a report yet how many calls for concerns on fireworks that would have come through the dispatch center, so don't have that report yet. We'll compare that to previous years. Heard various perspectives as to was it more or less. I don't think there's a magic formula to properly regulating fireworks. You know, we did publish and put out that, you know, the authorized time to discharge was previously approved. I think it was amended 3 years ago to 1 day from from noon to 11 p.m. Yet, I'm sure you can all attest if you're around town this weekend that, you know, at various times, Saturday night I hear was pretty active. Just sharing that update of things that you probably already know. Because we do get, all sheriffs, I get stats from the communication centers, just how many complaint calls came in. But there's, different communities have different theories. I don't think there's at least in my experience or from my perspective, a way that you can provide 100% enforcement towards something like that. So, any feedback that you've heard? Other than, again, last night for sure, at least from where I was at, my head was on a swivel, just looking at the night sky vista of all the fireworks going off. At least at that time, it would be a lot of time frame. But
I'm sure it'll probably continue for a couple of days because this is when they get all the clearance fireworks, the buy one get 10 free, and you know, so let's hope not. But
yes.
So Gene, for those complaints that are issued that are outside of the resolution hours, are tickets being issued, or do we know that? Or
I don't have any count yet as any
Just
citations were
curious.
issued. I understand that one of the great challenges is that by the time you get to the scene,
They're not there. Oh.
it's quite a challenge, and we're not, again, it's not unique to Harlan. That's not to make it any more less important or more important.
It's challenging.
It is a challenge. So. Some other status and updates. This week's paycheck for all permanent city staff will be the first of the 4 COLA payments that was approved. So those are the cost of living adjustment payments. So again, any permanent city staff will get that, the equivalent of 1.5% for 6 months, which is what was all approved. And that is being paid out on payroll this week. And staff will get an insert in their paychecks, reflecting how that was determined based upon their hourly rate for that 6-month period. Anything you want to add to that, Jane?
Also uniform allowance for those eligible.
Uniform allowance, once a year, uniform allowances are paid out at the start of each budget year, new fiscal year as well. And I know, hats off to Ashley and Jane as they've been ensuring the integrity and accuracy of that by individual. So appreciate that. JJ, very active season, yet it is ramping down. There are 3 more scheduled ball games. Should be Wednesday, Friday. Assuming the boys win Friday, we would host again Monday. Then at least JJ for baseball with the baseball softball would be complete this year. That has gone very well. Pool continues to operate very well. Warm weather, lots of activity. Staffing has continued to go well there. Getting updates on our mill and overlay project with Western. Estimated timing now is the end of July based upon their work schedule. And our street superintendent is staying in touch with them, but we will, when that time has come, we will push out that information on social media. Once again, the primary, 2 primary areas getting attention this year will be Lincoln, I was thinking Lincoln, essentially from Morris all the way out to 23rd or Highway 59, and then 7th Street up to actually where it joins the pavement coming into the square. So from Broadway up to the square, the 2 primary areas. And then once again next year with our large USDA street project, Snyder's will be finalizing those plans for bid later this fall. That will be a large project.
Nothing next week to interrupt the fair parade, right?
Nothing next week for the fair parade, no sir. Which will be next Thursday night. In your packet, Councilperson Blatt was present at the Airport Commission meeting last week. Ignite Pathways in Woodbine, a contingent of individuals came and met with the Airport Commission. They've been speaking with the airport manager, and one of the many pathways is aviation. And the whole idea is based upon STEM concepts and providing experiential and experience-based learning versus desk and lecture type learning. Desk and lecture is, as I think we all hear more, is somewhat of the past, and providing different methods of study and experience for our future youth and workforce is important. But they came to the Airport Commission as they're interested in identifying space initially where planes could be, possibly a plane could be built, and even experience with doing aviation mechanic work. There are other airports in the region that they may be speaking with as well, and just wanted to assess what the Harlan Airport interest is in working together jointly on our program. This would be for Southwest Iowa communities. I believe they said, Greg, I think they have agreements with 5 districts and 3 community colleges at this point. Correct. And over the last year, the last 2 years, they've had 6 students go through the aviation AOPA, and I couldn't tell you exactly what that acronym is, but they have a certified instructor, Curtis Lee, who has provided aviation classroom training for 11th and 12th graders. There is a team, I think one of the Airport Commission members, Scott Pixley, and a few others that are doing an assessment if there may be existing hangar space that might be suitable. Any of those agreements would be reviewed if that's something we entertain. But pretty neat stuff. They've got, at least based in Woodbine, through their STEM and then this Ignite Pathways. And
They
looking
had
forward to regional.
2 students that had already passed the written part of the flight
Yes.
exam
Yes.
on graduation, which
So that was some more background as to what was in your packet and what the Airport Commission heard from that group just last week. Anything else you want to add to that, Greg? Yeah, there was.
that's exciting stuff.
It's a good program to have. I mean,
It's a great program
aviation.
to be involved with.
Yeah, this, they had a very short handout. This focused on, or shared that, Curtis Lee is their certified instructor. The class times they've been having, at least this last year, were 7:30 to 9. And, this did indicate they had 6 students who've completed at least that aviation course. Also, it shared that, they've seen this on national news and national stats, that there's projected to be a 12,000 pilot shortage over the coming years. And as they study what the backfill is, and it's not even 50% of that on commercial pilots. So it would be more, it's more than just pilots, but also aviation mechanics and aviation industry, and developing that interest at a young age that could help feed the aviation industry, including pilots. So, just more information on that was in your packet. This was, some of you were there, but just to share with the public and those that weren't there, this was the walking tour of the grounds last week. A bit warm, but the breeze helped out tremendously. And I think this was a great exposure to share with some other elected officials and some of you that may not have spent much time out at the airport. And just hats off to the commission, as well as what our budgets continue to support through their savings account to maximize those state and federal dollars towards improvements out there. So, and hats off also to the 8-Ball Club, the 8-Ball group that had provided some food and meal to the group. Some nice photos there, a lot of smiling faces.
Yeah.
Even amidst the warmth.
We just got done eating, that's, yeah, we are eating, yeah.
In addition, update, have continued to meet with a stakeholder group on the future of ambulance EMS. As we've shared before, and the days of private industry and private ambulance service are winding down. Our local private ambulance service has indicated they don't have plans to continue after this current contract. So the stakeholder group is looking at both near and immediate plans, if needed, as well as what the best, getting these stakeholders together throughout all communities, county, to develop possible future opportunities, or a future model, I should say. There's been 2 or 3 models discussed so far, and I've shared those. The group has also worked on, and this should be put in quotes here, this is a draft, and the 2 things I'd focus on would be the mission as well as the goals. The first goal, and that's providing a high-quality EMS system, assures comprehensive approach to best serve our citizens throughout the county. Obviously, being the county seat, we're a large, about 40% of that county population. And then just further highlighting that first goal that has been developed, and I again put that in quotes, develop and establish a plan for a countywide EMS in Shelby County that works in cooperation with county, cities, hospital, and the volunteer groups, which are vital in delivering that service. So it'd be based on a continuum of emergent patient care. So you're wanting to look at the time from that 911 emergency call and getting immediate critical care to that individual through transport and even transports to higher level of care when needed. So, and that group is meeting again this week, is further working through draft proposals, what is a best, maybe the best option moving forward. So,
When is that current contract up?
with the Ambulance Commission, just as a refresher for everyone, there's an Ambulance Commission, which the city and the hospital contract with the private ambulance service, and that contract is up in 2026.
Okay.
Yet, it's always good to have contingency plans, knowing the challenge and shortage of EMS, EMT paramedics. And there are pros and cons, public-private, from an employment status standpoint, in terms of if it may be more attractive, not maybe, it would be more attractive as a public entity, be that versus private, between retirement benefits, overall generally is a more attractive, is one component to having a public-based service. Again, it's all stakeholders that are volunteer groups, EMA, hospital, city, fire, as well as the current private services participating in that stakeholder group.
Is the county participating in it?
County, yeah, most of the county as well.
I thought so, I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe one thing for clarification, because it's kind of contradictory a little bit. It says taxpayers, but really, this is a unique scenario, maybe to educate the public on, this ain't funded tax money, is that correct? Or or is that wording, how that mixed up in my wording?
EMS ambulance is not deemed at a state level to be an essential service.
That's the word I was missing, okay.
It's different than fire. Fire is considered to be an essential service. With the most recent legislation, what was passed this year is that on a county basis, counties can, if they so choose, take it to vote to have the EMS ambulance as an essential service. There are other levers or funding mechanisms that can be utilized separate from essential service, essential service levy.
Okay.
And if you'd like more information on that,
I think it's interesting to incorporate into the conversation, so not all of us, but in the general public, understand that component, because it is confusing, and you would think it would be essential, but it's not listed that way.
And you bring up a great point, and it's been mentioned a number of times that a part of this needs to be a lot more public education and awareness. As I think we can all attest to, when we call 911 and we need service, we expect someone to be there versus waiting. There are areas of the country that they'll wait 75 minutes for that ambulance to get there. They may be able to get a BLS or ALS trained person there sooner, but to get an ambulance can be a long time. But just a lot more public education around that, for sure. And with the dwindling pool of volunteers and less volunteerism as a whole, as well as, I know we've got Richard, who's here as a trained responder. The effort and the ongoing training and education, it's a significant investment and a significant commitment.
You're way under the average, I heard too, by the way.
Probably.
Way under the average.
But, so the stakeholder group has been discussing that a lot, and this being a public meeting and this being rebroadcast, these are just little slivers of starting to get their information out and starting the conversation. It's certainly been paramount for that group to how do we address a broader public message and education. But again, it goes back to, you call 911, they know what we want, there's a cost to doing that. Other comments? Again, the purpose there is just to continue to keep you updated.
It's good.
One more item before finishing with some thank yous. This is a wonderful topic. We had 0 bids on our welcome sign rebid. Initial feedback is from, so we have authority, we got approval from the DOT because they have very specific guidelines as to when can you even contact folks that even requested information packets. We have started that, and what we've learned so far is that feedback we've gotten is that at least 2 of the possible bidders didn't bid because they wouldn't get to it this year. And then 2 others are indicating, 2, maybe 3 others are indicating they didn't bid because of the solar requirement. 1 didn't bid because they only do electronic signs, even though they've taken out a packet, but that we're not looking at electronic sign. We're looking, our spec is with the backlit halo shadow light with the lighting. I have reached out to HMU just earlier today, and we're looking at the non-solar option based upon where those locations are. And we're going to speak further with HMU. I'll come back to you with a next step. And if there is a next step with the DOT, or we just budget to do this on our own and not use, again, the DOT piece, reminder once again to the public, is because of the funding mechanism. We do have authority to place the signs in those 2 locations. It's the funding mechanism in terms of how we, the other guidance. Wish I had just a raising update on that, but it be what it be, and I will update you after if DOT has a streamlined rebid process. If not, I'm going to recommend that we, as I said before, that we just develop a plan to budget for it, and then we do have it in our TIF urban renewal plan from a funding mechanism as well. And in closing, just to, if you hadn't got all the way into your packet, I'm sure you all did. I forget what page it is, but
It's only 95, so take a pick.
95?
85 were there for
I didn't write that number down, Troy.
it. I only know because I'm looking.
Well, that's funny. Play this way.
You looking for your thank yous?
Yes.
92.
Why is this really funny?
93, sorry, it starts on 93.
Well, I can tell you exactly why it's doing that.
300.
I was in the wrong file.
In wrong presentation.
There we go.
Always nice to share appreciation and shouts out. This was from help with the log cabin days and assistance on Morse Avenue with your approval to shut down that street, improving safety and helping get barricades and cones up there. Appreciation from CJ Peterson, who was here from SWITA SWIPCO on the Ride Transit Week, and appreciation for their partnership. Nice to receive those written notes, as well as from the Relay for Life, and appreciation from them for using the downtown square and authorizing closure of those streets and assistance with cones and picnic tables and the like. It's always great partnerships and working together to make these events come together. I wanted to highlight those and share those with you again, as well as the public. 5:55.
Good thing Joe went when he did.
I thought he left because he got bored.
Thanks, Gene. Any questions for Gene? Any information? Any public comments? Any comments from over here?
Silent.
Fun times, everybody still got all their fingers. Everybody's got a nice tan, looks like, on this side of the table. Got a pretty good tan on this side. Everybody quiet over here, too? Okay, meeting adjourned.